Hello everyone. Good morning, good afternoon or good evening, whenever you're watching. I'm Kerry Logan. I'm part of the Leadership Council of the International School Grounds Alliance. Welcome to today's webinar. Wonderful group of people from New Zealand will be presenting. Just doing a quick introduction. For those that haven't watched one of our webinars before, the International School Grounds Alliance is a group of individuals and organisations from around the globe, all with the aim of improving the way school grounds are designed and used. Traditionally, we have been getting together at conferences around different places in the world to visit schools and meet other local professionals and engage and share. Since COVID, that's a bit of a non-event. We do have a conference, however, coming up in September that will be online and in person. So we'll have some information about that in a second. But if you visit our International School Grounds Alliance website, there's lots of resources, wonderful position statement about risk in plane learning, which includes lots of research evidence on the back of that bit of paper. And in terms of taking learning outside, there's an amazing, huge gathering of information ideas for taking the learning outside from all our members around the globe. Our activity guide, International School Grounds Month Activity Guide, which you find on the website. So check that out. And just a very quick plug, before we get on to our presentations, about the conference in Stirling in Scotland, but that you can join online. Online registrations include all the presentations that will be available for 12 months, and there will be morning and afternoon discussion sessions for online participation. So that will be amazing. I will stop sharing my screen now and we'll get on with today's session. I'll introduce to you Esther Kirk from Enviroschools in New Zealand, who will introduce the rest of the session. Thanks.
Oh, namahi nui kia koe, Kerry. Thank you for the introduction. So, tēnā koutou katoa, no mai hoki mai ki International School Grounds Alliance webinar. Ka mihi kia rangi nui, ka mihi kia papa tuanuku. Ka mihi ki te nao o te whaiau, kia tau, kia tau, kia tau. Kia tau te rangi Māori e, o te rangi e te ihu nei, o te papa e tākoto nei, o te taiao e awhi nei, ki runge kia tātou katoa, tihei mauri ora. Just like to mihi and acknowledge our beautiful environment that brings us all here together today. Just acknowledging our Earth Mother, Papa Tuanuku, Sky Father Rangi Nui, acknowledging the warm rays of the sun, the gentle breeze of the wind, and the flowing waters of the moana and the oceans that join us all. So just acknowledging all of the people here today on our webinar, and we especially here in Aotearoa, New Zealand, acknowledge tangata whenua, iwi Māori, and the relationship Māori have with the land and the wisdoms and the knowledge that reveal such profound insights into sustainability. So acknowledging each of us that are here today, and mihi to your skills and knowledge and passion in this kaupapa. Yeah, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa. I'll just share my slideshow here. So today I have the pleasure of sharing some amazing work that's going on in the Enviroschools kaupapa in early childhood school and secondary school environments here in New Zealand. And I thought I'd introduce you, or start by introducing you to the Enviroschools kaupapa and the holistic approach that our program offers and fosters in terms of a rich teaching, learning and action environment. And of course, this really supports the outdoor connection and ground developments with the International School Grounds Alliance kaupapa. So mihi once again to our beautiful environment. So what is Enviroschools? So we're a nationwide program and network in Aotearoa, New Zealand, and we're committed to creating sustainable, resilient communities that care. So we have a beautiful website if you did want to check out some of the actions that are coming from the ground level in our communities that get fed through to our website. Changes every day, amazing things happening on the ground, and lots of amazing stories as well that really delve into processes and a lot of action that's happening. Just also acknowledge Toimata Foundation is our organisation that holds the Enviroschools program, and also Te Aho Tūroa, which is a program in Te Reo Māori that embraces Māori culture, languages and wisdoms, and also acknowledging our partner organisation Te Maurito. So the kaupapa of Enviroschools, it's a beautiful kaupapa. We're about creating healthy, peaceful, sustainable world through people teaching and learning together in ways that empower and are action-based. And our aim has been to empower a generation of innovative and motivated young people who instinctively think and act sustainably. And that has definitely, that vision and that aim is reaching out into our wider communities. So we have a lot of involvement with whānau, families, and other community organisations and people, of course, in our communities. So from small beginnings, just wanted to share, we started off with one region in Hamilton in 1993, and we had 3 schools involved with a partnership with 4 organisations. And the kaupapa, or the purpose at the time, was around looking at environmental education and how it could be integrated into school life. And from 1993 to now, we have a super well-developed network, 1,358 early childhood centres and schools involved right around Te Ikara Maui, which is our North Island, and Te Waipounamu, our South Island, making up New Zealand. So we have a fantastic network of regional managers, great facilitators that are working on the ground, walking on a holistic journey alongside our schools and early childhood centres. We have a huge number of regional partners and collaborators. So it's a really exciting network, and we're very blessed and proud to be supporting and constantly amazed at the innovation happening on the ground. So in terms of today's gathering, this is an opportunity to share how the Enviroschools kaupapa and the approach and processes, how they are improving the way school grounds are designed and used, how learning is totally woven into our landscapes, how there's a lot of enhancement of local ecology, biodiversity and climate empowerment happening, how it reflects ECE and schools' unique location and cultural contexts, and how the process is advocating for student and school community participation. And that's right from the design, the construction, and then the maintenance and stewardship of our school grounds. And most importantly, yeah, really pleased to be able to have a team here sharing some examples of the powerful learning opportunities and hands-on learning that's happening as a result. The nurture that's occurring in terms of students' physical, social, emotional development and well-being, the risk-taking that's taking place in our environments, and the promotion of enriched school grounds as engaging environments for our tamariki and our kunga, our students here in New Zealand. So I'm really pleased to be able to pass it on to you now, Teresa, from Ruawai Kindergarten in Northland, to share from an early childhood perspective about the amazing things that your kindy's up to. I'll just stop my share.
Okay, oh, where's my share gone? Oh, there it is, sorry.
Kia ora, Teresa.
Te whare tēnei, te marae I hora nei, tēnā kora, I te hoa kaianga, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa. No Scotland oko tūpuna, no Jane Giffen te waka, no taki wera ahau, I whānau mahi ahau I taki wera, I tupu aka ahau I pokowhero, ko Leith toku papa, ko Lynn toku mama, ke taki wera ahau I noho ana, ko Teresa toku ingoa, ko Craig toku hua rangatia, toku roa o Māo tamariki, ko Kane roa, ko Shanoa I roa ingoa. E mahi ana ahau ki te koha, ko hunga hunga o Ruawai Kindergarten. Nō reira, Māori ora, kia koutou katoa. Kia ora koutou, my name is Teresa Robertson. I am an early childhood teacher, and I have had the privilege of being the head teacher at Ruai Kindergarten now for 8 years and been there for 9. And previously before that, I was in Takiwera, Dargaville Family Link for about 18 years. So welcome, and I hope you enjoy this little slideshow of our beautiful learning environment at Ruai Kindergarten. So mindfulness and intentionality is our approach to the design of our environment. When entering Ruai Kindergarten, there is a strong sense of presence of Wairua. The environment is inviting, certainly for sparking children's imagination and curiosity. As kaiako, we sometimes need to reassure, educate the importance of our messy spaces, mud. What they may see as problematic as kaiako and tamariki, we have the opportunities to connect with papatūānuku and use all their senses through their play. So here at Ruai Kindergarten, we have a living, evolving vision where tamariki are valued and we promote a culture of respect, independence and responsibility, manakiatanga. We view tamariki, kaiako, whānau and the community as equal partners in the teaching and learning process, ako and whakawhanaungatanga. So in the beginning, our outdoor area grounds were really bare, like this would be all brown, dried off and not inviting. The grass died every summer. We only had a sandpit as one of our learning zones. So over the course of 9 years and through the kaupapa of Enviroschools, the ground slowly grew to what we have now. This has been a slow process, but an important one as the grounds reflect the interests and needs of our tamariki and community. Through leaving the environment plain, we were able to design it with and alongside our tamariki, whānau and community as they grew and formed connections. We had a shift in the use of our art resources. The environment is more vibrant and healthier. It feels like a living ecosystem that can support our community towards sustainability as we help contribute to the community in a variety of ways. We have zones of learning with emphasis on the natural environment, connections with papatūānuku, natural earthy zones, loose parts, art resources that have been brought back to the nature as the essence of Ruai Kindergarten. Carpentry skills were the difference. Within our environment, we have a large orchard area. So now that the trees have established, we do a bit of pruning. So the children are able to bring the branches back into the play area, and as you can see, the children enjoy sawing, and the blocks that we make then put back into the environment and the children reuse them. So within the orchard, we have hands-on experiences to prune. This gives the children plenty of STEM opportunities. We care for our worm farm and have a composting area which the the chickens enjoy picking through in their time. The guiding principles are woven into all aspects here at Ruai Kindergarten. These are interwoven through the everyday curriculum and are embedded with our philosophy, procedures and our annual planning. So here's an example of our worm farm. This is made out of a recycled bathtub sitting on a wooden frame. So I was able to obtain this bathtub from a local farmer and reuse it, and we find that this system works really well, actually better than any of the other worm farms that we have brought, and the children enjoy this process. Play reflects home at Ruai Kindergarten. Children have opportunities to interact what happens in their lives outside of kindergarten by having plenty of opportunities to role play. Children learn many important aspects, which include a strong connection with home. They know their play is valued, respected in the learning environment where they can explore in their own time. Social and emotional competencies, cooperation, negotiation, communication, problem solving, having fun, and lots more. So here you can see we have small groups of tamariki connecting to the environment. So the group of boys in the mud or the water that you'd like, they created that area and in their time. So this is all about them. And again
Teresa,
here.
Teresa, I'm sorry. Could I interrupt you and see,
Yeah, absolutely.
see if we can put your slides into the view mode so that we can see your amazing photos a little bit
Oh,
closer?
can you not see them?
We can see them, but you're in edit mode or something. If we can
Oh,
go
how do I
to
do that?
view, view mode.
You just go view slideshow, Teresa.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and file?
And I view. Oops. Yeah, view just along the top. Keep going.
Yeah, to the right.
No, I can't see it. Sorry. Hang on. Sorry about that.
That's all right. Just
Yeah.
yeah, along your top toolbar it says slideshow.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Yes.
Yeah,
I
that's it.
couldn't see that. Hang on, let me. So could nobody see that?
Yeah, well, no, we can see it, but we can just see the slides on the side. So if you just say from current slide, and then your pictures will come up even more beautifully.
Okay. Oh, sorry. From
That's all right. Just under that toolbar where it says home, if you go along to the left, yep, and go down. Yeah, go along to the left, Teresa.
Yeah.
Yeah, keep going, a couple along. Yeah, one
Yep.
more, two more along, and it says from current slide.
Okay, yep.
Perfect.
Oh, sorry. There we go.
That's it. Lovely. Gorgeous.
Okay, so the tamariki here are engaging in their own plays. So, here we go. Place, wahi. The buildings and grounds are a learning resource and a site for action where tamariki can design and recreate their spaces. The outdoor is significant in enabling children to develop a problem-solving, risk-taking disposition. And as you can see in the background, there's a large shed and children have access to the equipment that they can choose to use in their play. Having loose parts available in a play space allows children to use these materials as they choose. Encouraging children to use resources as they choose can provide a wide range of opportunities. Children playing with loose parts are usually using more creativity and imagination and developing thinking and negotiation skills. Taking risks. Our tamariki are capable, competent tamariki that they know they make a difference in our wider community. We wanted our learning environment to be one full of surprise and uncertainty as children set themselves interesting challenges that stretch their abilities and their time. So over time as kaiako, we have shifted our thinking process from being a hazard to a risk management. We value tamariki and listen, observe, know the child, and believe children need to be able to listen to their inner voice about what she is capable of. We ensure we explain the importance to adults that children need to be able to get up onto the monkey bars themselves. It takes time, but time is important. Children start with the lower bars, build their muscle strength and confidence, then they naturally progress to the next stage. And this is done in an unhurried, calm, supportive way. The delight and the wow moments are priceless and mean so much to the individual child who sets them these challenges and achieves them. So in risky play, youngsters dose themselves with manageable qualities of fear and practice, keeping their heads and behaving adaptively while experiencing that fear. They learn that they can manage their fear, overcome it, and come out alive. So that's a little quote from Peter Gray. So we have a couple of children here being risk-taking. I've only caught the end bit of this little girl who's actually doing a back flip off the bar. So in risky play, children experience a dose of fear and then practice adapting their behaviour to manage it over time. So according to the emotional regulation theory, play, among other things, assists children in learning to overcome their fears. Then when they encounter real life dangers, they will be less likely to give up. become overly fearful or question their confidence. This is one of the things we hope for our tamariki to strengthen here at Ruai Kindergarten. So for us, no such thing as bad weather, just bad clothing. So 99% of the time we are outside, unless it's thunder and lightning, and then we're usually up on the deck. But as you can see, these girls are enjoying some interactions in the sand and the mud, and they've got their jackets on, and we do have overalls, which you'll see in the next slide. This is our famous mud mountain. So scientists have confirmed something that children have always instinctively known. Playing in mud is a joyful experience. Recent research has shown that the dirt contains microscopic bacteria called Mycobacterium vaccae, which stimulates the immune system and increases levels of serotonin in our brains, an endorphin that soothes, calms, and helps us to relax. Scientists say regular exposure to the bacteria may help reduce a child's vulnerability to depression. And in short, playing in mud makes you happy. And as you can see, as kaiako, we enjoy it too. Our tamariki get to see and feel large open spaces while observing farm work, taking care of their learning environment, observing the wonder and the joy of monarch butterflies, as you'll see in the next slides. So here our children are being kaitiakitanga, taking care of our haraki. We take that back to the ngahere, and so that goes back to Papatūānuku. And also in January, we harvest the seeds and we use them as part of our natural resources for our art area. Here we go, tamariki are enjoying some monarch butterflies. So any given time, we've got our swan plants in the playground, and when it's warm enough, we have the chrysalises hatch into butterflies, and at any given time we could have up to about 300 butterflies, and they are drawn to the clover flowers out in the large area, and so we let our children go out and experience the wonder and joy. Sorry, if you can hear a dog barking, that's my naughty dog in the kennel, so sorry about that. Outdoors in, so we bring our outdoors into the learning environment and change it up. Tangata, there's a sense of belonging and strong partnerships with tangata whenua. We draw on the combined wisdom of our multicultural community and consider equity and diversity when making decisions. Sustainable practices. We are very fortunate to have an intergenerational connections here at Ruai Kindergarten. Hendy, aka Pops, comes into the kindergarten doing many projects and maintenance, becoming a regular contributor to our ever-evolving learning environment. So here we've got children in our mud kitchen area. We've just revamped it, and we've put a roof over the top for shade from the sun, and also to capture the water. So we've got a tank at the back. So our tamariki get to enjoy the hand pump to collect the water, which is collected from the tank. So our centre policies and systems support environmentally friendly and sustainable practice, such as water conservation. Tamariki manage their risks. So here we have a young lad who was noticed that some of our nails had popped up in one of our ramps, so he took the ownership, go get the hammer out of the carpentry shed and hammer them back down. So they are taking care of their resources and their learning environment and taking ownership of it. Our learning zones that promote and extend children's interests. As teachers, we think of our role as a supportive one, not a rescuing one. Go. Some of our tamariki like to be daredevils or crusty demons, as they call them, and with their motorbikes up on the ramps and the boxes. We have rat trapping in our environment, so sustainable practices in the running of the kindergarten are supported. We removed all our poisons from our learning environment to generate bird life and the natural taonga, as well as eliminating the rodents from the environment. Duck shooters. Our culture here at Ruai Kindergarten is very into hunting and fishing. So here we have a couple of boys who are practicing their duck shooting skills. We've actually had some real ducks fly over, so they're pretending to shoot them. So they experience opportunities to play, interact with the environment, learn to take risks and manage these. They have gun licenses that they know that the rules are that we only point to wild animals or targets. And if they are not being sensible with the guns, then the gun license gets taken off and the gun gets put away for the day. So we're teaching them from a very young age how to be responsible. And as they are doing that in your home life, we like to bring that back into the kindergarten environment. Our marakai, tamariki experience sustainable living opportunities. As a kindergarten, we hope to increase our contributions to the wider community by being involved in a community garden project, working with parakura and dynamics, syntrophic gardening food forests. So 2 weeks ago, the team was successful in obtaining a Kāori scholarship from Northern Kindergarten Association. So we're going to be implementing the first stages of our syntrophic gardening in our learning environment. So we're really looking forward to this next step. So there'll be more of this happening, more bananas, more of taking care of our environment in a natural way. Our sunflower project. From seed to full grown sunflower, so many learning experiences were captured through this process. Learning for sustainability, caring, nurturing, looking after the seedlings, keeping them warm, putting out into the sun on the warmer days, social and emotional competencies, working with and alongside each other, ako, sharing learnings with their peers, maths and science responsibilities. I'm going to sing to it and talk to it to make it happy. Empowering students, problem solving, the shape of the garden, the seedlings we're going to be put in was a learning process in itself. So, and then once they grow, they became an opportunity for observational drawing and painting. So we still generate the seeds from this project into our learning environment. Seeds have become an integral part of our graduation process, where children receive packed seeds to plant at home, continuing the growth cycle. We reused all parts of the plants, even the root system. These were used as outdoor paintbrushes for children to become creative with. What we valued was the connections with our whānau over the time, and joy and wonderment. And as it was a competition with the whole of Northland, we won the tallest and widest sunflower, which we received Dalton Garden products that we were able to put back into our learning environment, back into the marakai. Our Māori perspectives are enriching our journey and have become embedded with our curriculum. Te ao Māori is deeply at the forefront of our daily practices. So in the slides before, you saw us rat trapping. Well, if we get rodents, we bring them back into the learning environment and we have an actual tangi for the rodent and we put it back to Papatūānuku and we say a karakia to farewell. Our hei, caring, collecting, providing food for lunches, learning about and taking care of our chickens, responsibilities, showing kindness to others and diversity towards others and living things. So our hei have been a big part of our learning environment for many years and we enjoy the wonderment of it. So a few years ago we went away on our term break and we came back and we actually had some baby chicks. So that was a great natural learning process for our tamariki to see in the learning environment. So over COVID, when we were in lockdown, we had a thing on Facebook because we were wanting to establish a care code. So we put it out to our whānau and this is what they came up with. So I'd like to share it with you. Ruai kindergarten, Enviroschools. We care for our chickens, we care for our chickens, we care for our friends, we care for our friends, and sandpit, bubbles, frogs, fruits, and Mother Earth. We care for our teachers, our outdoor area, care for the kai table, and the spider too. So a couple of years, well about 8 years ago, we have got a whakatauki that we were gifted to. It's called Whaia Te Maramataka seek enlightenment. This is a whakatauki gifted to us by our local kuia whaia Lynette Chapman, and it still stands strong today. It is what is featured as you walk through the doors of our learning environment. I believe that is what our tamariki, whānau and community receive, and our future tamariki will receive as well. So my vision for Ruai Kindergarten going forward is manawa, the heart space. Ruai Kindergarten is a space of learning founded on connection and belonging. Our vision for Ruai Kindergarten is to be supporting and educating our tamariki in the power of yet, of possibilities yet to come, yet as future focus. That life is a learning curve. We want our tamariki to show kindness, empathy, and have a sense of self and belief. We believe that sustainable living is a way of ensuring that we protect Papa Tuanuku becoming kaitiakitanga of our world through the positive actions we create here at Ruai Kindergarten with whānau and the wider community. We will strive for zero waste by Parakura. Parakura is a Māori zero waste organisation with a kaupapa based on whakapapa to Papa Tuanuku. Environmentally sustainability will be strengthened. We want to strengthen our connections with our community through the Marakai project, syntropic gardening in our orchard area, and be more involved in our connections with our educational hub, working with and alongside Ruai Primary and Ruai College, sharing our learning environment with outside agencies, other teaching teams, and wider community members. So whaia te maramataka, seek enlightenment. So this isn't all on me, this is our wonderful team. It's myself, Shanda, Chanel, Kyla and Lisa, and without this group of lovely ladies, Ruai Kindergarten wouldn't be where it is today. So I hope you enjoyed that little snippet of our learning environment, and thank you for taking the time out of your day to listen. Ka kite.
Oh, ngā mihi nui ki a koe, Teresa. Thank you so much for sharing that beautiful presentation and just acknowledging your team as well, and the lovely way that the design of your grounds and all of the learning has evolved over time, and that it's not set in place, that you've got the structure there, but that it's interchangeable and really responsive to those children that are coming through and their families. So thank you so much. Beautiful photos, really makes your heart sing.
Kia ora. Thank you. Kia
ora. So I'll just dip back into my presentation here. Can everyone see that screen share all right?
Yes.
Yeah, I'll give you just a couple of examples of some outdoor learning projects and spaces that are happening in the primary school sector in Aotearoa, New Zealand. So I just wanted to acknowledge Hukanui School, based in the Waikato in Hamilton, and Michelle White, who is a very long-standing, amazing teacher who's led a vision in Hukanui School for many, many years. And just share the process and design that occurred with their living room project, which is the building in the background here. And a wonderful example at their school of an eco classroom designed by students and used daily as an example of sustainable living, basically. So you'll see some amazing photos there of the students, and the wonderful thing about this living room is that it's totally connected to its environment, and the whole process of design involved the students right through the construction phase. They were integrally involved with, and through using the living room as a place of teaching about sustainable practices, it also raised a need that they were using their outdoor environment so much for cooking, for the harvesting and preparation, and the following kai opportunities around food, that the students then designed another ecological building that linked with the outdoor environment, and they called it the Living Kitchen. And that dream was, took shape over a few years, and these pictures here just celebrate the students involved in the designing process with architects, huge consultation process, bringing ideas together, right through the building stage where students were involved in different parts of the building process, and then the opening and the following uses, which has been a beautiful connection with their garden space. And they have chickens and bees, they run pruning workshops, all of the kai harvested on site is used in still school classrooms and lunches, and yeah, an amazing example. And yeah, my small brief kōrero does not do it justice, the time, energy and amazing contributions from the community that have gone into this space, and the passion from Michelle White in really embedding learning into and weaving it as part of daily life in Hukanui School. I'd like to share also Fernridge School in Te Upoko Te Ika Maui, which is our Wellington region. And here they had a whole school focus on designing an outdoor classroom in the school grounds. So you'll see some drawings and plans and the children out there on site actually taking part in the development of it. And Bella, a student, said that, you know, they just want an outdoor classroom to have all the sensory things, and they'd like it to be a calming place. And, you know, it's involved lots of thinking, which she's enjoyed being a part of. So I just love the fact that the students were really involved once again with the planning and design, and spent time thinking about the qualities of these spaces. And this was one of the finished product, and Sala, the lead teacher here, just expressed just the positivity from the community, how this whole project and the process really unified the school, and it really just amplified and uplifted what they were doing. You'll see down the bottom there a fire pit as part of their outdoor classroom as well. So you can just imagine the incredible learning and opportunities that this environment now affords these classes in the school. And the third example I wanted to share with you was some working with experts. In particular, just wanted to mihi and acknowledge Hako Brown, who is a collaborator in New Zealand. And Hako has an incredible passion and enthusiasm and knowledge around Mara Hupara, which is the creation of traditional Māori play spaces. So creating play spaces that offer children unique experience, integrating traditional Māori play items. And this was in a particular park up in Tamaki Makaurau, Auckland. And just acknowledging the connection of Māori traditional wisdoms and play approaches, and how this has really cemented and uplifted this community in Auckland. So I'd like to now move away from the primary school space and introduce Becky Dove, an Enviroschools facilitator, and her team gathered here today in Paeroa. So Corrie Anderson, a teacher at Paeroa College, Trish Warren, a landscape architect and designer, and Michael Donald, artist and potter. And really looking forward to your presentation. So Becky, I'll stop my share and hand it to you. Tēnā koe. Tēnā koutou.
Kia ora, Esther. Kia ora, everyone. I'm just going to share my screen. Kia ora. Is that everyone can see that in full screen? Yeah, cool. And I might just make us. Make it a little bit smaller. Cool. So we're just going to start with our waiata. Karanga, karanga, karanga hape, karanga hape te maunga ue. Karanga hape te maunga, o hene muri te awa, auraki te turanga wai wai, our place to stand.
Kia ora tātou. Ngā mihi aroha kia koutou. Mai piki, mai kaki, mai haere mai, haere mai, haere mai. My name is Mike O'Donnell. I'm the artist in residence at the college through this project, and it's to welcome you all here to our mountain karangahape, our river, Ohinamuri, and our place to stand here in Paeroa at the college in Hauraki. Ngā mihi, ngā mihi.
Kia ora, my name's Trish Waugh, and I work at the college with students with gardening. I'm a former landscape designer. I'm now a permaculture designer, and yeah, kia ora.
Kia ora, I'm Corrie Anderson, and I have been teaching at the college for over 10 years now. And I get to work with these guys and pull them in to help us out.
Kia ora everyone, I'm Enviroschools facilitator. I was an Enviroschools facilitator for the journey that we're going to be sharing. My name's Becky. Yeah, and this is the story of the journey of the creation of a living landscape from a very bare and boring expansive quad area at a secondary school. There's lots more to the story than just the quad area, but because it's, you know, focused on the landscape webinar, we're going to just tell the story.
Kia ora. I thought I'd put this little fella up, you know, because our mountain here and our ecologies here have become really degraded over the years from mining and deforestation and what have you. And our river became that unwell, our river Ohinamuri, that the fish couldn't swim in it. And this is back in the 1800s and into the 1900s, 1940s. And so we've inherited that environment and it's healing with us as a community. But this little fella here, Hoxteterai, which is the most ancient endemic frog, it's as old as dinosaurs and older. It has the tenacity in the face of adversity to still be there at the spring. It's a living mythology, this little creature, Hoxteterai, and another frog, Archaeid, and has been my mentor and my teacher in the years of being in courts of law defending these ecologies. So you know, you step out there in a local environment and you're being seen, and I was adopted very closely by tangata whenua and by all of the elders. And this is a gathering of all the tribes, 13 tribes here in Hauraki, around a small stream called Taraoriki, which was the last water that we could drink here at one stage. And they gave their blessing and established the kaupapa, or the foundation, that the one way we could begin to heal with the ocean was to heal the river. And to heal the river, we heal the stream, and to heal the stream, we begin at the spring. So this site they're on now is 6 meters high in forest, and our little stream flowing into our river is beginning to heal within itself and the river. For myself as an artist, and this is at Pyro College where we're going now, my 2 children went to that college, they're now in their 30s and 40s, and as an artist, this was my reply to the fact that out there in that world, we're no longer listening to the sky. We're no longer listening to the land. We're no longer listening to the waters. And we're no longer listening to the fish, the birds, and the creatures of that natural environment. And so for me in those early years, I'd just get the knock on the door, and next thing a teacher would bring to me, half a dozen or more sometimes, students at primary intermediate. And they entrusted in me the incredible privilege of taking them into a journey of this landscape of ecology where, yeah, they'd plunge in the stream. They'd bring their dogs and plunge in the stream. I'd have them eating clay and introducing them to all of the sensories of that environment and the power of that connection within their whole body of knowledge. And so, you know, word gets around and school talks to school, and we recognise that our secondary school was not holding the environment that these children in primary and intermediate were introduced to in the first place. And so this is the blank landscape, or the hostile area, in terms of just old tarmac, old courts, and 4 inches of concrete over top of a soil that hasn't been seen for 40 to 50 years.
So in 2016, the school became an Enviro school, and when I was touring the school, the principal, yeah, he had, you know, some money to develop this quad area, a landscaper lined up, and yeah, just looking at the Enviroschools kaupapa, which is 2 of our guiding principles are empowered students and learning for sustainability. It just encouraged him to take a step back and think what learning could happen here before anything happens here, and how can we empower the students so they have ownership of this area. So from there,
another thing that just want to mention here too is about that time, the college had done some developing, and they'd bashed down the insides of an old building and turned it into a modern learning environment. So not only were we trying to do some work on the outside, but we also had this new space for learning that we needed to think, okay, we've got to do things differently. So we started off in term 2017 with some kickstart days, which were totally different to what we'd done before. And we had 100 students, so year 9s and 10s, and we put them into 2 different sites over 2 days, and we workshopped them through 6 workshops. So the 3 that we had out at Mike and Trisha's place was a water journey with Mike. They made some compost and looked at the permaculture kind of side of things, and they also undertook a stream study.
Kia ora, and back at the college at the same time, half the students were going through workshops around, one was we started a riparian planting project at the Hinamuri River, which wraps around the school. And also another workshop was just mapping their place. So they looked at the current situation in the college, they mapped the feelings and words they had around, their feelings for different places in the college. There were sensory activities, they mapped their special places, what they find special already. And they looked at the atua, which are the energies of the different nature spaces, earth, sky. So all that was mapped out, and also some nature awareness activities. So really just getting them connected to their place.
So the next step was to create a vision map. We've obviously done some work with the juniors, and there were these seniors also at the school. So we thought, what could we do with them as well? So this is some of our students on the left, the senior students who undertook a waste audit, were horrified that they had to touch all that rubbish, but they did. And we also did some staff meetings with the staff. So Becky ran those with us, and just kind of introducing what Enviroschools was all about.
Working towards, creating a vision, so after a couple of terms of learning around sustainability, mostly in the year 9 and 10 groups, but also other things happening in the school, an Enviro group was formed out of really interested students, and they put together all the ideas that had come from around the different sectors of the school. And also, they mapped the current situation. What was here already? What did they like about what was here already, and what didn't they like? And then came up with ideas to move forward to in the future.
So this is the finished, the started vision map, I guess, because it's never finished. But we put it on display in the hall so that it was kind of the centre of our school, and everyone that came into the school saw it. Everyone can kind of, have a look, take an interest, see what's happening, and the kids were really proud of it. So that's sat in our hall.
Cool. And on that vision map were ideas for the school identified by the students. So on the left-hand top corner, you can see the quad was identified, and it was sort of a natural place to start because, there was already a passion from the principal and teachers, and for a long time, that quad had been talked about as an area that needed developing. And also lots of other ideas from like the artwork and outside learning spaces that were identified by the students could be actually woven into the quad. And also, concepts of Te Ao Māori, like the Māori perspective, could be woven into that.
So it was quite an interesting moment when the then principal, Doug Black, approached me, and he said, Mike, how do I describe you? And I said, well, I'm a creative activist. And he said to me, what's that? And I said, well we take situations and creatively rather than destructively. We creatively activate them. We don't run from them. We don't have that flight, and we don't fight it. We actually hold the centre, and we embrace the situation and breathe life into it. So this is how we began out at home in a regeneration zone of ecology that's coming back with the bird life and the fish life. And it was an incredible moment to be entrusted for me with these kids, as it always is, and a huge privilege to hold that space with them. And they were immersed in everything. We know that when our children get from primary, intermediate to secondary stage, they kind of go a little bit quiet, they kind of lock up their spirit, they get frightened, and they sort of tuck the magic away. So you've got to have games. So I'm down on the floor here. I'm a musician also, and I use musical instruments. I use the clay with them. I use all sorts of stuff to get their breath going in symbiosis with the ecologies. Yeah, as I said, plunge in the stream where they connect with the fact that they are water beings, and when the water is unwell, they're unwell. And the water is a reflection of our well and our unwell being. So this is a moment in my workshop where we're just brainstorming, and they're feeding to both Trish and I all of their aspirations for this site, which we have the potential to activate together. So they were pretty amazing. This is an amazing time with the kids. And so what we actually did, I got them, first of all, you know, you've got to trick them a little bit, but I gave them sacks one day and they had to go for a walk into the bush with me, and we went to ask Tarariki, the stream, for some fire stones. And so I taught them how to lift fire stones. And each one of them was a great moment. They looked like the dwarves, you know, walking out of the bush with their sacks carrying fire stones. And these are the fire stones you see here, because we arrived at this site and none of the school know, even the principal didn't know we were coming on this day. And we arrived with a Kango hammer and picks and shovels, and we just dug a hole right in the middle of it. And as you'll see soon, the kids signed their signatures all around it. We lit a fire, and in the fire, we placed clay modi stones, life force stones. Well, by then, of course, it was we were gaining some attraction to the other students, and we lit the fire. And then we did a really wild thing. On top of the fire, we put all the prunings from our herb gardens and we smoked the college. Well, that certainly got them all coming out. And in fact, we didn't get a shot of this, but year 9s and 10s came out doing a haka. That was their absolute spontaneous response. As you can see, they've all got their initials there. They did comment that mine weren't there, and I said, no, I'm not going to get into trouble here. You're the fellas carrying this one. And in the middle of that little area, you can't see it there on the right, we actually planted a little beautiful little garden, an oasis, which was a challenge for the board of trustees and the college to pick up the kaupapa of this amazing dream that these students were having.
Yeah, so Mike and Trish went along to a board meeting, and they took the ideas that had come from the school, and the board absolutely backed us 110%. We had the board chair driving the tractor for us. We had all the local tradies kind of offering their services at cost price. And this all happened over one of the summer holidays. So this is what the kids came back to at the start of 2018. They were shocked and amazed and excited and bewildered, all of these things, just kind of like, what is going on here?
Yeah, it was, it was just amazing. I'd have to say that we had 35,000, and this would have actually cost about 120, 140,000 to do. And it was incredible. Corey's dad, how he picked it up as chairman, and with our community. And as you can see, there's 4 pathways there. And this came from the observation of sitting at the school, watching how the students just naturally walked across that, across the quad. And here we noticed there's 4 pathways they chose. And we love the reflection of that, because our town has 4 highways coming into it. So it's like a microcosm, macrocosm. And the soils were gifted, and out of nowhere came these boulders like a piece of magic. And elders up in the mountains said, we've got boulders here if you'd like to come and get them. So these things just naturally flowed with the energy of the whole site. And lowering down into the centre, as you can see, because this is one of the dreams of the students, they wanted a water feature in the centre of the quad. And yeah, we did it our Kiwiana way, and drilled out the centre of it, and as you'll see soon, so water could come back up to it. And the 4 pathways would be literally walking back to the spring, which was the kaupapa of our planting in the rivers, to heal the river and the ocean. We could start with the spring. Yeah.
So as this was unfolding, we saw the potential to create vegetable garden, a productive garden in this space. The students had all come mostly from Enviroschools, and when they got to the college, it was quite barren, very little continuity from the Enviroschools program. So this was an opportunity for us to have them do some experiential learning. And as Mike said, the soil there had been under concrete for about 40 years. So we used the opportunity to teach the students about the soil and how to improve the soil. We added compost, we did a soil test, and then we also planted lupins as a green crop. And so we let those grow, the students cut them down, and then they dug them in. And so then we started to look at what we wanted to plant, and we had a lot of different students involved at different times, and they were all really engaged with the whole process. And this is one of the gardens in summer, and we not only wanted to teach them about growing plants and about how to bring soil back, but also about seed saving. We particularly grew heritage plants, heritage seeds, and seed saving and sharing, and also how amazing the flavour is in homegrown food.
We're just going to share. Caitlin Harris, a student, was asked, what does the quad mean to you?
Yeah, so she said the quad is a bright, happy place that brings the school and wider community together. I love spending lessons in the sun on the quad when I have work to finish and don't need to be in the classroom. The quad has made the school a way better place and is more enjoyable.
Yeah, so as a potter, and I've done this with a vast number of schools throughout our area, primary, intermediate, and around the country, creating clay tiles, and I established a format, a jig format, where the students, first of all, they draft up a concept of something that they would like to express and their relationship with environment and family, and it was a personal opportunity. In fact, I would go so far, well, no, definitely, it's a mental health act, because I watched these kids for the first time realize that they could create a form from deep within them personally and express it, and no one else knows the story of that form except them. And that's the magic of art, because it talks beyond words. And you can see the kids, their diligence in carving. The quietness in the room was amazing as they carved these 3D tiles out of clay. And we went to the extent of making up the clay from a hauraki clay where we come from, and I put the sand of our river in it. So the Māori, the life force, was already inherent in these tiles. And it was, and then they set the tiles in front of each student, and they allowed the tile to talk back to them, and they wrote the story. And I have a suitcase of 340 stories of unbelievable intimacy that's been entrusted to me. And so the quad took this next stage, and we had Matariki arrive on us beautifully, and the garden was there, and the pathways were in there, and then there was the next stage, and I took the boys on a journey to all the streams around us, and the river Ohinamuri and Waitawhata, and there with a karakia, a small prayer, all of these boys were just amazing in their sincerity as we asked the river and the streams for stones to carry their energy back to the college. And I gifted to the boys each time a lovely seed stone that I'd made, and they all did a blessing of that seed stone, and they put that in the stream. Now you've got to remember, these are year 9s and 10s. They're very, very shy. But once you capture them, they were just in the zone, you know. And this is amazing, because this age group doesn't have a passage of rites. Year 9, year 10, we have a lot of challenge with. So here we have all of the school bringing in the stones into the centre of the quad, where in their design, they had the vision that these stones would be there. And this was on Matariki. And here they are. You know, you can see the kids hugging and hugging teachers it was a really emotional moment. I don't know if I was prepared for it. They brought these living stones in to come around the big kohatu, the big stone that's got the water coming up out of it, and there it could go into installation. And so that's kind of a picture of how it's looking, carrying the memory of all our streams, and the outer stones are from the edge of the ocean where our oldest tribe here, Ngāti Hako, brought their waka in. So we got the blessing to lift those stones too. So there's a huge story of whakapapa, of genealogy in there. Yeah, so then, you know, I'm entrusted with, I have to tell you, I was more nervous firing these tiles of these kids than I've been of any of my work that's gone out there. And we just used clay, and this is the beauty of these tiles, and crushed up recycled glass. Bottles, in some case, we found on the side of the road, wine bottles and beer bottles and what have you. And then the day of reckoning came, the firing, which was hugely nervous again, because clay can blow up and you don't know what these kids have done with the tiles, and one tile blowing up can take the whole lot out. And here they are, and I'm just sorting them with great relief. And every single one of these tiles is an unbelievable story unto itself. It's extraordinary. And I just want to say, at the same time, I mapped all these students in terms of their whakapapa, their genealogy, and we suddenly realized that we had the entire planet covered in these tiles. We had Native American, African, Micronesian, Polynesian, Celtic, all the tribal Māori, all the tribes of this land were there, and we realized that in these stories, the children were saying to us, all the seed carriers, all the memory carriers are coming back to the source, to the spring. And you'll see they're mapped down in the quad.
These are just some words from the students at the time I interviewed some for an article. My tile expresses my connection to water, nature, and the sun, the elements that are the life of all things. I feel like my tile is just connected to everything. My tile represents what my Māori culture, my maunga, my iwi, and my whānau mean to me.
And so it came to the day, you know, the kids were just great, hey? They mucked in where the concrete mixer going, as kids do. And in that moment, I saw not year 9s and 10s, I saw primary intermediate kids bringing their spirit through into the quad there. And here they are laying the tiles, and it was hard work, you know, and they all got stuck in, and the community arrived also, word got out there, and everybody got involved.
Yeah, so in December 2018, so at the end of that year, the college reflected at bronze stage of Enviroschools, and I guess what was important here was that they also reflected on that journey of the quad, and they created next steps that they want to move forward to with the whole school, but also this particular area. And you can see the symbol that they used for the day, they chose that was the maunga, karangahape, and the awa, ohene muri. So, yeah, so between 2018 and 21, lots of other actions happened that relate to the quad from the vision. Trish, do you want to?
Yeah, it stimulated a lot more around the college, and it's including an orchard, call it the wild orchard, and some native planting, and even now we're starting to grow native plants from seed, and with the view to planting further areas around the college. So it's really coming to life.
Yeah, and it's you know, from those early journeys of the planting of Tarariki, a small stream, to now the college is planting the river, the edge of the river. And as you would have seen from some of the earlier drafts of the students, this river, Hinamuri, completely surrounds this college, and they look out from that straight at the mountain, Karangahape. So it's there in our face, challenging us to be a part of the healing.
Mm. Yeah, Corey, you're going to just talk about how expanded into the school it's become today.
Yeah, so on the next slide,
I think we've taken that one out.
Oh, yeah. Oh, they have too.
Yeah.
So yeah, some of the future things, there's obviously always new projects coming on, new students coming through the college who have got their own little visions and things that they want to see. So at the moment, we're building a shed for the seeds to grow those. And yeah, there's a new little Enviro group that's started, and it's just a constant ongoing thing. And these guys make sure we're kept on our toes.
Yeah.
Or we keep them on their toes, bit of both, I think.
Yeah, and we're right at the moment, we've got the year 10 nines and 10s or 10s, and we've taken them on a journey because there's no sort of passage of rights for these kids. And so we went into the mountains, and the year 10s have just finished 70 more tiles about where they're at, personal tiles, and they've yet to be fired. Yeah.
Oh, so that's really our journey. I'm realizing we're just a little bit over time here, but yeah, thank you so much for sharing in that today. So yeah, so what's happened since in our lives, I've moved on from actually facilitating that college to some other Enviroschools work, which I'm just loving, being still part of the kaupapa. And I'm also working with a primary school that feeds in the students go to the college. So it's really awesome to know that they're going to go to this place that has sustainability growing there, that yeah, has this beautiful living landscape in its centre that connects them to place.
Yeah, I just, you know, the testament to me is when I walk downtown, go to the supermarket, and I run into these kids, and the conversation is, you know, how's it going? Because this is a challenging world for those kids to be in. So in terms of just being there, and they know you're there to support them. And one boy, Leaf, I rang into him yesterday, and I said, wow, you're looking so good. And he just went 6 inches taller in that moment, you know. And for me, I just want them to know the love of this incredible environment that defines them, and a sense of belonging and connection to it, and a dream of maybe one day you just might come back home with skills to help us. So yeah.
Yeah, and I've got a position with the Garden Club and Enviro Club, and I just love the opportunity to teach these kids about building their own resilience and how to grow their own food. I love the fact it's experiential learning and not as much emphasis on academic. So it suits other students really well, and yeah, just it's so rewarding. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm still teaching at the college. I have had a baby in between this quad, so it's taken a little bit to get back into it. But the biggest thing for me, I mean, I love being with these kids and just trying to empower them so that they know that they can go and make a difference in the world and yeah, change some things that need changing.
Kia ora, everyone. We're just going to finish with our song and some slides just showing that journey briefly. Karanga, karanga, karanga hape, karanga hape, karanga oe, karanga hape te maunga, o hene muri te aua. Hauraki te turanga wai wai, our place to stand.
We call out to our mountains, we call out to the streams, we call out to the springs, the rivers down to the sea. We listen to the song of the birds, we listen to the song of the fish. Wairua, waiata, we sing to the waters of our soul. Karanga, karanga, karanga hape, karanga hape, karanga away.
Oh, wow. Ngā mihi nui kia koutou katoa. Ngā mihi aroha. Wow, just a stunning presentation. And just like to really mihi to you all for such amazing dedication, first off, and what a beautiful process over these years to just the rich learning, the amazing connection with place, and the beautiful relationships that you have created with the community, which, you know, that longevity and the value of taking time to really hold on to a process. So very inspirational. So thank you very, very, very much, Trish, Corey, Becky, and Mike. That was just amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Esther, for bringing those to us. It's amazing. Wonderful.
You're
And our first singing presentation. Great. We want to engage all the senses and artistic expressions.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, incredible. And I love the way that, you know, these students that are coming from all these feeder schools are now coming to Paeroa College, and there's such a vibrant, incredibly rich, meaningful experiences that are there for them. So yeah, really mihi to you all. It's just amazing.
Wonderful.
So I'll just finish up by very briefly just sharing through just some photo pages here that really just reflect the processes that I think do bring about these rich, meaningful environments and such strong connections back to taiao, back to environment. So, you know, the processes that we are trying to engage in here in Aotearoa, New Zealand are, you know, learning by exploring, creating and doing. We have this action learning cycle, which both Teresa and the team from Paeroa have really showed around the value of identifying the current situation and mapping your place, exploring alternatives, taking action, and that constant reflection on change. The absolute value and essential essence of bringing different knowledge and perspectives together and honouring all of those. And we call it creating a puna mātauranga, where observations, experiences, interactions with the environment are all pulled together and everyone's thoughts are honoured before you move forward. The immense value of mapping your place and creating a vision, you know, the empowering nature of that and how that can just create such connection from people's spirits back to the land, the whenua, and also those feelings of empowerment and that hope for a better future. The processes and structures that enable students to participate in decision making and the empowerment that comes from allowing those processes to happen. And of course, designing with sustainability principles in mind. Incorporating taking action, so you know that deed for papa tuanuku rangi nui, and taking action to get your hands dirty, to really feel and see the difference you're making, and the immense value in reflection and celebration as well. And finally, just the encouragement of monitoring and maintenance. And so I think from both of the projects and the primary ones that I shared today, we can really see the value of longevity in a process of having people there, but that monitoring and maintenance that goes into these systems so they are truly sustainable. So we are in New Zealand on a very long-term journey. All our schools are, and it is just so wonderful and it's just so exciting, and really want to mihi and acknowledge you all. And just like to finish with a karakia to end our session today before opening it up to any questions. So kia tau te rangi Māori e, o rangi nui e tu iho nei, o papa tuanuku e tā koto nei, o te taiao e awhi nei, ki runga I a tātou, tihei mauri ora. So may the peace of the sky above and the earth below and all the embracing universe rest upon us. Mauri ora.